The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Now, back to your turn on 1330 WEBY, Northwest Florida's talk radio. The phone lines are open, so call in and join the conversation at 623-1330.
How can one man bother so many people by simply telling the truth? Freedom Friday with Carl Gallops, the Oval Office of Gulf Coast Talk Radio.
All right, welcome back, America. Freedom Friday, and my co-host this afternoon, Brandon Gallops. He also happens to be my special guest this half hour because I asked him to do some research into Obama's Kenyan connections, and he has uncovered some amazing, amazing stuff. So, Brandon, let's continue on. Talk to us about relationships, Obama and relationships in Kenya.
No, absolutely. There had been a lot of speculation that Obama and this Odinga fellow had a deeper tie than just their political ties. Mm-hmm. Well, in January 2008, Mr. Odinga gives an interview to the BBC, and he says, quote, Barack Obama's father is my maternal uncle. They're first cousins.
So that makes them first cousins.
Right.
So Obama, as a senator, going over to Kenya, trying to help his first cousin to become president with the intention of changing the Constitution to be more Muslim-friendly. Now, this is why he's a senator, folks. This is why I was screaming over the radio back in 2008, please don't put this Muslim in the White House. Please don't do it. But I was called a racist and an idiot and a crazy preacher. But anyway, here we are. But so that was happening. And he also instructed this dude, if you lose the election, here's how you start riots. And then that happened. The guy lost. Riots ensued. Muslims on Christians. There were slaughters. And so Obama and his cronies and Condoleezza Rice and all these other people you named were instrumental in setting this Odinga up, instead of putting him in prison and executing him as a mass murderer, they actually created a government position wherein he had the power to change the Constitution. Now radical Muslims are flooding the country of Kenya. And then we now know this dude, Odinga, who's basically creating all this havoc over there, is Barack Obama's first cousin.
It's according to Mr. Odinga. They are
according
first cousins.
to Mr. Odinga. Yeah. He could be lying about that, but he said that they are first cousins.
Yeah. At the very least, Mr. Odinga and Obama's father are from the same tribe.
Right.
So, but Odinga says they're first cousins. So, it still doesn't just quite all make sense, right? So, kind of like with all this stuff we see, let's follow the money trail.
Right.
Where's the money come from and where's the money going?
Right.
We see all this turmoil in the Middle East, Kenya, Libya. We see the events in Syria, and we keep hearing Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is behind this. Saudi Arabia is behind this. Why would Saudi Arabia want turmoil in the Middle East? What would they stand to gain? Mm-hmm. If they can cause turmoil in the entire Middle East, then what do they have complete control over? Mm-hmm. The oil supply.
The oil.
Mm-hmm. The oil supply. Saudi Arabia has been tied to our government for a long, long time. Think about the Bush connection to Saudi Arabia.
Right.
Best friends, reportedly.
Right.
It came out some years later that the day after 9/11 happens, one plane leaves the country, and who's on it?
Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
Members of the Saudi royal family.
Right.
So if this is true, then what's going on here? Who's calling the shots? Now, this gets really interesting because Barack Obama's stepbrother. Stepbrother.
Half-brother. Malik
Obama. Malik Obama.
Brother.
Same father.
Half-brother.
Same father, different mother. Excuse me.
Half-brother.
Half-brother. Okay. He has a 501c3 inside the United States that operates under the name Barack H. Obama Foundation. Okay. There's also a separate foundation controlled by Malik, and I believe it's his wife, inside the United States called the Mama Sarah Obama Foundation.
Mama Sarah Obama.
Now, another friend of Freedom Friday, Waleed Shubat, has done a lot of research and a lot of writing on this and where these two foundations, where their money goes.
Okay.
All right. Reportedly, a lot of the money out of the Barack H. Obama Foundation gets filtered directly through the Muslim Brotherhood.
Right.
I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but...
No, it doesn't sound ridiculous to me.
The trail is there.
Yeah.
But get this now. The Mama Sarah Obama Foundation, all right, this is documented by Waleed Shubat. I'm reading right out of his article. 90% of those funds are transferred. All right, they're raised in the U.S., and they are transferred to send Kenya students to the top 3 most radical Wahhabist schools in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Wahhabi sect of Islam is the most radical. They're the ones that just supply most of the terrorists
the most radical
to the world.
Sect, right. Now, with everything that's happened with the IRS and what we've heard about them targeting, Tea Party members, Christians, conservatives, get this, okay? In 2011, the Barack H. Obama Foundation apparently received IRS approval 1 month after an application was submitted in May. Right. So in 30-some-odd days, they get their 501c3 status. It's a done deal. No problem.
They get theirs, no problem.
But this is crazy. All right. The IRS determination letter granted a highly irregular retroactive tax-exempt approval only after the group came under fire for operating as a 501c3 since 2008 without IRS approval. If you or I said we were a 501c3, send us your money, it's tax deductible, and we weren't, we'd be in prison.
We'd all be in prison. And all the money would be confiscated, our buildings and assets would be confiscated, and we'd be in prison for years and years.
Exactly right. So we see two foundations set up inside. Now, not to mention this, Malik Obama is a resident, a legal resident of the United States. This dude from Kenya who's involved in Kenyan politics.
Muslim Brotherhood,
just
Saudi
comes out
Arabia.
Yesterday.
But he's a citizen.
Egypt is considering banning him for his ties to the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yeah, so Egypt don't want him. They'll ban him because an Egyptian and Muslim nation is going to ban the president's stepbrother because he is connected to Muslim Brotherhood, but the United States is going to give him shelter and aid and comfort. Right. Now,
we have to give credit where credit is due. Waleed and Ted Shubat have been calling this out for a year now about Malik Obama. Yeah. They have been all over this, screaming, this guy's Muslim Brotherhood, he's Muslim Brotherhood, he's using money out of the United States, filtering it through the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay? Right. So they've been all over this for a year. Finally, just this last week, Malik Obama is so much pressure's on him. Egypt is looking for him. Shubat's been calling him out, and he finally has to address it. And, of course, he comes out and says, I have no affiliation with the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yes.
But let's see where it goes from here, because he's finally at least been forced to address the issue.
Right. Wow, this is amazing stuff. Brandon, we're going to have you back, either live in studio or getting you on the phone as you continue to uncover this amazing information for us. Again, folks, you're not going to hear this anywhere else but Freedom Friday. That's why you got to listen every Friday. That's why you got to get other people to listen. Go to carlgallops.com. Check out my 2 books, The Rabbi Who Found Messiah and The Magic Man in the Sky.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.